After the University of Massachusetts Dean of Students' Office admittedly mishandled a sexual assault case by granting the alleged rapist a deferred suspension, campus community members have responded with questions about the university's overall approach to sexual assault, questions that have prompted the university to re-examine its policies.
Whenever there's an act of violence, for example, where there's no consequences, it gives permission for more of that violence to occur.
This person should not be allowed to just go under the radar. It's a very intense crime. It's like, the girl he raped is psychologically damaged for the rest of her life.
Like, you hear about people getting roofied every once in a while, and like there's not really much you can do to stop that, but I mean, if it happens, there should be like huge consequences for it.
You should feel safe at the school you go to. You shouldn't have to walk around or live in an apartment or something and know that your next door neighbor is a rapist and that nothing happened to him because he raped someone.
And it just clearly sends that message over and over again that you can get away with this behavior.
On campuses throughout the country, the apparent lack of consequences for sexual assault, paired with a high number of unreported incidents, creates what an investigative journalism project, the Center for Public Integrity, calls a culture of indifference surrounding sexual assault. The center's investigation cites a Justice Department study finding that 1 in 5 college women will either be raped or experience an attempted sexual assault during her undergraduate career, while fewer than 5% of those victims will ever report the incident. As a result, university officials find themselves in a bind when approaching issues of sexual assault.
I think sexual assault is definitely a problem on our campus. I think that we could be doing more to get those numbers down. The underreported numbers, we got to believe, we could be doing more about that.
What gets reported and what we know about is only the tip of the iceberg, I think.
I think everyone knows it's out there. It's just like now it's like been brought to attention.
We know it's happening. We shouldn't have to wait for someone to say it happened to me to take it seriously and to take steps to reduce it.
The belief that there is a safe campus ignores the experiences of those that had unsafe, uncomfortable situations.
Many people also raise concerns about the impact that drinking and a party culture has on the frequency of sexual assault and how that complicates the situation. Students also acknowledge the use of the drug Rohypnol, or roofies as they are commonly known, as a contributing factor in campus sexual assaults. According to a Columbia University study, between 50 and 72% of sexual assault cases on university campuses involve alcohol.
If you're over the legal limit of alcohol consumption, you are not legally able to consent.
If you are almost unconsciously drunk and you're with all these guys, obviously they're gonna not obviously, but some guys will try to take advantage of you. But that shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. That even if you have been drinking, you shouldn't feel unsafe.
I don't know. I feel like most of the times when you hear about cases about rape, the alcohol is always involved mostly, and when there's alcohol, there's so many things that are just shrouded and just blurry. And I don't know. It's hard to place blame.
Guys are guys, but if a girl's too drunk, and you should know when to not make moves, not pressure, not take advantage of the situation.
I definitely think a lot of people use drinking as a kind of excuse.
Getting roofied and getting a girl drunk is generally the same thing.
Though counseling services are available to victims on the UMass campus, many victims encounter obstacles in pressing charges due to the fact that rape is a very difficult case to prove.
These are very complicated cases because they happen oftentimes because it's an intimate setting, or at least private, that it's a he said, she said, oftentimes.
If somebody's been raped against their will, you can tell. You can take pictures and you can take samples.
We can't lose sight of the fact that there is a suspect, and the suspect has constitutional rights, and we have to be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that what is being reported had to have happened. So if there's not enough evidence, whether it's her verbal statements or physical evidence, the suspect still has rights.
You can ruin a guy's life in half a second by saying that you've been raped by him, and there's nothing that you can do to prove that he did or didn't do it.
like girls don't want to be known as the person who got raped at a party, you know. So like for them, it's a huge thing to come out and say something. So I think for a lot of girls, it's hard to muster up that courage to say that they've actually been assaulted.